Hello, welcome to the Horror of It All movie podcast. Another video edition. I don't know why I keep adding that because it seems like that's what most of my videos are, but hey, whatever. Anyway, this time I'm going to be talking about my favorite releases of 2021. Now, it was hard to narrow down some of them, especially Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, anybody who watches my channel knows how much I love Vinegar Syndrome and that I'm a genuine fan, and I like pretty much all their releases. They've had a great year. Every release that they've put out, I've either really liked or absolutely loved. So it was kind of hard to narrow it down, but I was able to do it. Now, I'm going to mix in things with those. It's not just going to be Vinegar Syndrome, but hey, there's going to be a good majority of Vinegar Syndrome. It's just the nature of the beast for me, so to speak. But I'm gonna just go right into it. I don't think I'll get in too much detail with each release, but some of them I might. But I just wanted to do this before the end of the year. Happy New Year if anybody's watching this after or leading up to it. Anyway, so I'm gonna dive right into it. Do maybe one of my favorite releases. I'd say if I was to make like a top 5 or whatever, it would probably be in there. Now, I've wanted this on a good release for a long time, and Vinegar Syndrome tends to do that for me. I mean, I've talked a lot about Fade to Black. That was one of my all-time favorite movies, and people were having trouble, and lo and behold, Vinegar Syndrome put it out. Now, this isn't like to the caliber of love of that, but I do absolutely love this movie. And they killed it on this box. My first pick for favorite release of my favorite releases of 2021 is, you see what that is? Flesh for Frankenstein. Now, I know a lot of people have said that they're not a huge fan of the spine. I completely get it. I'll probably just put it like this, is because I'm a weirdo. But, I mean, come on. It's got 4K and a Blu-ray in it with all the special features. And then it got the 3D version, Frankenstein 3D. Be it in real 3D, so to speak, or with glasses. But yeah, if I was to make like an absolute top 5 favorites or whatever, I think this would be in there. And I wanted to start strong with that because I'm going to kind of go all over the place in this episode. But I do love this one. I didn't want to sit down and try to figure out an absolute top 5, top 10, whatever. I just wanted to do my favorite releases. But anyway, without further ado, here's some more. Is a Severin release. It's one of their box sets they did this year. I am actually a big fan of his, in every sense of the word, in an endearing way, I don't want to call him garbage, because some people will confuse that, but I'm talking about the Andy Milligan set that Severin put out. It's so cool, and I'll never forget getting it. I think you can see that on camera, that they made it look like old and kind of like worn. How many people got it that are completely anal about that? And I get it, but I'm not to that degree of like, oh my god, I think it looks cool like this. I had 3 of these movies on here. I actually never saw the Ghastly ones. That was the one that I watched first, and I really enjoyed. But I had Vapors, Seeds, and Flesh Bottom 42nd Street, all from Vinegar Syndrome. But there were so many great movies on here. Like, if anybody's into trash, quote-unquote, cinema, you'd probably like Andy Milligan. And a lot of the prints were very scratched and very messed up and stuff, but it was still fun. I'd say my favorite ones were probably, other than those three that I mentioned, because I like all three of those, would probably be the ghastly ones. I know that's what I started with, but Bloodthirsty Butchers I did really like too. But great fucking box set. It's probably my favorite box set of theirs of the year. Now, as you can see up here, those are my other box sets. I genuinely like the Christopher Lee one. But I don't know if I could call it an absolute favorite of the year. It was pretty great, I will admit that. But at the same time, I will say this. There are some things that may not be on here that could end up being favorites of this year, but I haven't watched them all. Because I have movies everywhere. Now, if anybody's trying to see this shelf is just stuff. I do have movies organized in my room and stuff. All my Severin are up there. But anyway, the main reason why I think I didn't put Christopher Lee box set is because I haven't finished it. Sometimes I get on one thing and then jump ship to something else, and it happens. I just have to finish it. But anyway, yeah, enough rambling. The Dungeon of Andy Milligan collection. So great. The only thing I will say, and it's not even Severin's fault, I'm not a big fan of this style. Like, it's cool picture-wise, but the disc is kind of just in there. I think the worst one I've ever got like that is there's an Alfred Hitchcock box set like that, and I kind of got to have it at a certain angle, or it gets glue on the disc. Fucking sucks. Anyway. Like I said, I'm going to mix it up. How about another box set? The Arrow box set, Vengeance Trails, and I was glad to add that to my collection, mainly because Massacre Time was on it. But I don't know if Massacre Time would have been my favorite on there. I'm not sure which one is my favorite, to be honest with you. But Vengeance Trails, great box set. Unfortunately, as I was kind of joking about the Andy Milligan box set and the way it looks and stuff, mine actually did come squished, unfortunately. But I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's pretty much bent. But it's a great box set if you like spaghetti westerns, Italian spaghetti westerns. They're a lot of fun. It's got Massacre Time, My Name is Pacos, Bandinos, sorry, and God Said to Cain. That was a great one. That would be a contender up against Massacre Time. And I think Massacre Time was probably my favorite, but I think it had a lot to do with being Lucio Fulci. But great box set. All of these I highly recommend if you haven't got them. But yeah. All right. Let's pull from some Vinegar Syndrome, shall we? This one I have talked about before. It was, I think, for the Black Friday sale. I think so. So I'm going to just go through some Vinegar Syndromes and pretty much just show them because I've shown and talked about a lot of them. But another great release, which a lot of these are blind buys. I'm a big blind buy guy with Vinegar Syndrome. I've seen thousands and thousands of movies, but they're the one company that seems to get me 85% of the time. And this is one of them. All American Murderer. It is an early 90s twisted hybrid of a slasher and giallo, starring Christopher Walken, and it was just a lot of fun, and it's a great slipcase. I don't know if you can still get this slipcase, but All American Murderer. My next one from Vinegar Syndrome, unfortunately, they're not able to do a second one. I don't know if that means ever, but alas, I mean, yeah, the guy that they were working with did die, and these are his dad's movies. But the Cardona Collection, I heard mixed things on this. I've been a big fan of Cardona's movies, and this includes probably my favorite of his movies. I know crazy to some because they think it might be boring, but I'm talking about Cyclone. I find that movie fascinating because it feels like a real thing. Like, if you were put in that situation, that would be pretty much how it played out, I think. The Bermuda Triangle, or Triangle, the Bermuda Mystery, is my second favorite. I'm probably in reverse of some people, because the Treasure of the Amazon, my least favorite. It was good, but I didn't think it was great. I thought the other two were great, especially Cyclone. But it's unfortunate that they weren't able to put a second one out, because we'd have it. It was supposed to happen, and yeah, I mean, it unfortunately it happens. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about that, and unfortunately, what's his name? Brad from Vinegar Syndrome. He was talking about it, and he was supposed to interview the Cardona's son. I'm trying to think. Rene Cardona the third, and the same day, and he ended up passing away. But I thought this was a great set. I was very excited for it. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't know if we'll get another one, which sucks too, because they were ready to do another one. It even says a volume 1 on it, and it has magnets, so they were like supposed to stick together. But hey, Cardona Collection, great collection. I loved it. This one I won't go into too much, as I've said for the other ones, but this one I actually won't. If you want to see me geek out about this movie, because a lot of people hated this movie because they don't get it or something, I don't know. I have a whole video about it. It's a little quick review, silly review video. Devil Story. And if you want a little taste of that, if you want a ridiculous movie with a guy trying to shoot a I don't remember, it's been a little bit, this possessed horse for like 50 minutes and never hit him, you got it. You want a mummy for no apparent reason, got it. This movie's just so ridiculously absurd, and I loved it. I bought the t-shirt that is the original horrible art. I love Devil Story. It's definitely one of my absolute top favorites of 2021. Some more Vinegar Syndrome. I think one that you hear some people talking about, but I'm surprised more people aren't talking about, because if you like exploitation movies, if you like 70s exploitation movies, come on. Death Promise. So much fun. Absolutely fucking amazing. Great slipcase. Great art. It's so great. So great. This other art isn't that great, but some might think so. It might fit the movie, but another fun one, Death Promise from Vinegar Syndrome. One that I've actually heard some people, it's one of their least favorites, but I 100% disagree. It's Italian. It's Umberto Lenzi. It's Hitcher in the Dark. I've always loved this movie, and now I love it even more because this release is amazing. Looks amazing. Of course it's amazing. Vinegar Syndrome did it, but Hitcher in the Dark. Love it. Alright. The next one, well, wearing a shirt. New York Ninja is, of course, in probably be my, like, another top 5 favorite, maybe top 10, I don't know, probably top 5. The story behind this is just as fascinating and just as fun as the movie, I think. A guy at Vinegar Syndrome, he started working there, and he saw these boxes that were labeled New York Ninja when he first started working there a few years ago. He's always been fascinated with it and wondering what it was. And then years pass, and he ends up getting a budget to make the movie. They talk a lot about it in here. It's such a great box. It's kind of like it's just like the VSU. It's not a 4K, but that's the other art. But it's just such a great movie. It's so much fun. They literally had to make a movie. Like, there was scene shot, but he had to edit it, and he had to put the sound in there. They kind of put Vinegar Syndrome alumni in the voices because it's dubbed. So much fun. I'm sure a lot of people, especially fans of exploitation and horror movies and Vinegar Syndrome in general, already know about this. So amazing. Absolutely. Might be my favorite Vinegar Syndrome of the year. Like, it's so good. And the documentary is so great, and the book is so great, and I can't wait to watch it again. New York Ninja. Now, this one is another Vinegar Syndrome that was earlier in the year. I was a subscriber for half of the year this year. Unfortunately, I couldn't re-up, so to speak. But I'll do another half again if I'm able to. But I'm still going to buy everything. It's just what I do. I just didn't have the money at the time. Anyway, I digress. This one is highly underrated, in my opinion, Satan's Blood. I think if more people saw this, and this was in more theaters at the time, that I think this could have been a classic. I really, really do. Great. It was a fiendishly perverse blend of sleazy sex and gory violence, written and directed by Carlos Perodo, and from the producer Juan Pierre Simon of Pieces fame, but definitely an amazing horror exploitation from the 70s. Highly underrated. Definitely check this out if you haven't. Satan's Blood. Alright, let's go with a partner label. This one is just fun. I finally ended up watching it, and it's just fun. I mean, and I'll even say it like the trailer. Commando. Ninja. It is actually a current movie. It is a newer movie that was put out by ETR Entertainment. It is their number 2 of the partner labels in Vinegar Syndrome. But it's absolutely ridiculous. It's obviously the people that made it love movies that are absolutely ridiculous, and film and the acting is over the top and or terrible, and everything you can think of for a ridiculous exploitation action movie is part of this movie. But Commando Ninja is so much fun, and I'm surprised I haven't heard more people talking about this. One of the best partner labels of the year. Partner label release. The best partner label, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, is Fun City. And this year they put out a box set. Primetime Panic. It has 3 really good movies in it. Dreams Don't Die, Freedom, and Death Ride to Oaska. Anyway, that's the one with Jennifer Jason Leigh. These movies are just fun. If you like TV movies, if you like exploitation movies, there are TV movies. Like, it's kind of they're just fun. And if you're a big fan of some of their partner labels, especially Fun City, I even bought the Fun City shirt. That's how much I love Fun City. Definitely pick up, if you haven't, Primetime Panic. All right, another box, I guess, from Vinegar Syndrome that came out earlier this year. Scanner Cop 1 and 2 box. So good, and they're both 4Ks. Lots of fun. I have never seen these movies. I saw the Scanner movies, but I haven't seen the Scanner Cop movies. They're 2 individual. They both have their own slip cases, which are always cool about that. Another one I highly recommend. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Scanner Cop 1 and 2. All right, let's mix it up a little bit. How about another amazing box that I think was a Zavi, depending on how you say it, exclusive from Arrow, and it was a True Romance 4K. I got this particular version. I like the art on it. just Arrow's ridiculous, like, amazing special features. It also is a steelbook. I love when steelbooks come in their own, like, slipcase. This is not necessarily horror, but I think it's on the side of exploitation in a way, you know? I mean, it comes with lobby cards and, like I said, a 4K and a Blu-ray. Tony Scott directed it. If you don't know much about True Romance, Quentin Tarantino fucking wrote it, man. If you don't know pre-Reservoir Dogs Quentin Tarantino type stuff, I highly recommend True Romance. This one is gonna be it is hard to get, but you can get True Romance from Arrow still. But this is one of the earlier releases of the year. I have a little quick video on it when I first got it. Definitely recommend it. Alright, let's go with some Severin. How about Strike Commando? Now, they put out 1 and 2 of Strike Commando, and I've only seen this one. And I loved it, and I know I'll see the other one. It is directed by Vincent Don, a.k.a. Bruno Mattei. And of course it's co-written by Claudio Fragasso and his wife, like a lot of those collaborated movies are. It's basically Rambo, what do they call it, like Rambo Missing in Action, those type of movies. Absolutely batshit insane, as it says. If any of what I said rings to you, check this out. It's so much fun. Coda! Strike Commando is so much fun. I can't wait to watch the second one. Alright, let's go with another Severin. This was earlier in the year, I believe. But this was just... I had no idea about this. Just a fun movie from 1982. Thematically dark and intense. Anyway, is Siege. Lots of fun. Totally unique and truly disturbing. Few Canadian films are unrelentingly gripping as Siege. That just sums it right up, man. Siege, it was great. I loved it. All right, another Severin. This one I had heard of for a long time, and I think I even had it on VHS, but never watched it. Retribution. I had a feeling I'd like it, but I fucking loved it. Bear with me, it's good. Now we can call them the old slipcases, because old slipcases from Severin, which were still this year, fucking sucked. Anyway, it was signed. I don't know if you can still get it signed, but Retribution is a lot of fun. I mean, it's basically a nightmare of in a movie. It's time for fear, it's time for terror, it's time for retribution, and the time is now. Oh man, what could I say about it? Like, this underrated masterpiece encapsulates everything that is great about 80s horror. Goddamn fucking right, I agree. But yeah, it has one of their really tight slipcases, but Retribution, a lot of fun. Now they have slipcases like Vinegar Syndromes. They're not quite as good, but they're the same style. You know what? I think this one I got with Siege, I believe. Born for Hell. Loosely based on a true story. It's a brutal movie, man. But yeah, it's been a little bit. I'm trying to think of, but yeah, it's loosely based on a true story. I'm trying to think of what the guy it was based on, but they like change names and stuff in this. But yeah, Born for Hell, truly intense and shocking, a nightmarish trip into the heart of human darkness that will haunt your mind for a good while. Richard Speck, that's who it was based on, but they couldn't get something to get it to do it. But Born for Hell, so good. All right, let's grab from over here. This is a more recent one. I've been waiting for this to come out on Blu-ray. Nothing like Fade to Black or Flesh for Frankenstein, but hey, it's also Vinegar Syndrome. Is Creature. Creature's a lot of fun. It is a quote-unquote alien ripoff. It's been sleeping peacefully on a moon of Saturn for 2,000 centuries until now. Kills are really great. There's 2 different versions of the movie on here. There's the extended version, which unfortunately doesn't look as good as the theatrical version, but Creature. All right, another partner label from my favorite partner label of Vinegar Syndrome, Fun City. I knew I'd love this, and of course I did. Walking the Edge. All hell broke loose when they stopped. Walking the Edge. That's the other art. Such great art. I love Fun City. I can't wait for more Fun City. Robert Forster's in this. It's just great. It's just it's like 80s 83, so it's like 80s drama, action, suspense kind of thing. Lots of fun. Walking the Edge. All right. Here's probably my favorite VSA of this year. The Grave. It's a 90s movie in 1995. Amazing cast. Craig Schaefer, Josh Charles, Keith David, Eric Roberts in a cameo. Unfortunately, Giovanni Ribisi, one of my favorite actors of all time, in a cameo. I find it funny that Anthony Michael Hall is the last name on here, and he's essentially the star of the movie. Nothing like Anthony Michael Hall ever. Like, don't think Halloween Kills for the newer people. Don't think Breakfast Club or Vacation. Nothing like any of that stuff. But I had never heard. I don't even think I heard of this. I might have heard of it. It's just it is one of those names where it's like, have I heard of it? But they're kind of like Shallow Grave, which I'll get to. But The Grave, VSA 17. Highly, highly recommend this movie. It's so much fun, so great. Another partner label that I had fun with. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm not big on disgusting. It has disgusting moments, let's put it that way. There's a guy that pukes a lot. But that's not the movie. And it's kind of cool slipcase, like an old VHS tape. Donnie's Bar Mitzvah. It's just a fun, dirty, sleazy movie that you just have a lot of fun. It's just one of those, like, almost like a teen comedy type thing, but it is almost like found footage. It's not found footage, but it looks like it's recorded on a VHS tape. I believe, when 1998, is when it was supposed to be. It's actually a newer movie, 2019. But yeah, Donnie's Bar Mitzvah, a lot of fun. The partner label. This is number 1 of Collective from Vinegar Syndrome, Donnie's Bar Mitzvah. If you like, I don't know if it's just sleazy, but like just fun movies that are just raunchy. That's the name. The thing I'm looking for. Donnie's Bar Mitzvah. A lot of fun. All right. How about another 4K from Arrow? I've waited for this for a long time. They were supposed to release this maybe last year, maybe even the year before, and then it got canceled, and I was bummed. But this is probably because I haven't seen a lot of spaghetti westerns. I wasn't a big fan of westerns in general when I was younger, but as I get older and I'll watch any type of movie, spaghetti westerns are my favorite. I mean, obviously they're the most violent, and they're Italian, so duh. Anything Italian I'll check out, and 9 times out of 10 it seems like I at least like it, if not absolutely love it. Django I fucking love. This is a great set. It's actually one of those very few times where it's not a fucking J card and it's printed on the box. I know that probably costs more, but and it's on 4K. Love it. Sergio Corbucci's Django starring Franco Nero. Love it. Love Django. finally got it. I've watched this a couple times, actually. I'm going to watch it again soon. All right, let's go to a different label. I got this recently, and I devoured it. It's just so good. There's a book. There's lobby cards. I find this movie so fucking underrated, and it's been put out on Blu-ray before. It has, from Screen Factory. But the UK company, Second Sight Films, which hopefully, fingers crossed, Martin will come out next year. They just put this out recently. I got it quicker than I expected. It just came out. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. It came out, late 2001. Okay, I was going to say late 90s, but I have a buddy that has tried to get into this and couldn't, but I personally love this movie. It is probably the top 3 creepiest movie, one of the top 3 or 5 creepiest movies I've ever fucking seen in my life. Session 9 is so great. I love it. In my opinion, it's so great. And this is as of now, the be-all, end-all version to get. This is even better than the Scream Factory version. I believe just about everything from the Scream Factory version is on here. But I don't think it makes the Scream Factory version obsolete. I don't have it right next to me, so I can't be like, hey, it is everything. I feel like there's other things, but Session 9, such a great set. From Second Sight. It is B. I gotta mention that for you people out there that aren't region free, which, if you're not region free yet, what a great way to start the year. Get a region free player. You won't regret it. If you're huge into movies, it just opens a whole new world of, you're not limited. You're not limited. You can buy a movie from any fucking country. The great thing about 4Ks is 4Ks are region free. So that's going to open up a whole new world, which is great. But for Blu-rays, all region, man. All region. This is B. If you're a big fan of this is one reason to do it. Or the Dawn of the Dead box set that Second Sight put out. Absolutely amazing. That came out, last year or the year before. Which is also B. But anyway. Alright, how about another partner label? Sorry I keep bending over. They're right next to me. This one was a lot of fun. This is probably my favorite AGFA of the year. I hate abbreviations, but that is essentially what they are. American Genre Films. But is Bloodorama. The only way to get the slipcase is through the Vinegar Syndrome part label side, but the regular cover is pretty good. It's a triple feature. You can watch it in you can watch it like you're watching it at the drive-in. There's a drive-in option to watch all 3 movies. Triple Frightmare. It has Help Me, I'm Possessed, Night of the Strangler, which I have the DVD from Vinegar Syndrome from years ago, and Carnival of Blood. I had seen, the only one of these I had seen, because I actually hadn't watched the Night of the Strangler DVD of these, was Carnival of Blood. It might be my favorite one. I haven't really decided on here which one's my favorite. I got to be in that right frame of mind for AGFA, but this is my favorite release of theirs. Bloodorama Triple Frightmare. Alright. Back to some Vinegar Syndrome. This was a surprise. I had hoped that it would be good, and I was blown away. Some people didn't like the ending. I do like the ending because I think it leaves it open for interpretation. One of those kind of endings. That's all I'm going to say. But Shallow Grave. Lots of fun. Lots of suspense. Where the most feared killer wears a badge. It doesn't really give anything away because you find that out. I'm not a huge fan of the original art, but the slipcase art is great. There are a few movies named Shallow Grave, so when they said that we're going to release Shallow Grave, I had no idea what they were talking about. And I still didn't until I watched it. Loved it. Alright. almost down there. Sorry, there's just so much great shit that came out this year. Finally, on a good, like, I had never seen this movie because it was kind of hard to get, but Vinegar Syndrome pulled out all the stops. Of course they did. Ticks, lots of fun. I love creature feature type movies, and they're about giant killer ticks. And Clint Howard is on the back. I'm infested. It's on 4K. Has the original art on that slipcase. But it's Tony Randall's Ticks. Pays loving tribute to 1950s giant monster movies, updating the formula by adding copious amounts of slime and heavily increased bloodshed. Starring Seth Green, Alfonso Rivero, Clint Howard, and it's the director of Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and my favorite Amityville sequel, It's About Time, which also Vinegar Syndrome put out in their box set. Which, if anybody sees this before Vinegar Syndrome puts up their January releases, I'm so excited. What a way to ring in the new year, literally at 12:01. A ridiculous amount of releases from Vinegar Syndrome. But they said they'll have a limited amount of the Amityville box set, which, check it out. I pre-ordered it because I grew up with those movies. I love the Amityville movies. But yeah, anyway, Ticks. Lots of fun. This might be my last Vinegar Syndrome out of these. Yeah. And it is a box set. My favorite box set from them. And they did some good box sets. But honestly, the Camille Keaton box set in Italy, I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people not too into it. I have not checked it out yet. I do own it, but I haven't watched it yet. But out of what I've watched and everything, I mean, Giallo box set came out. That was amazing. So I do highly recommend that. I didn't pull that out, but I do recommend the third one. It's one of my favorites of them, and they're going to have number 4 in January. Anyway, Televised Terror. I had a lot of fun with this. A lot of people didn't like the art, but whatever. The movies in it are really good. Are You in the House Alone, Calendar Girl Murders, and Child in the Night. I watched these kind of mixed up, but Child in the Night, I had never seen any of these, but these are all TV movies, obviously, because, Televised Terror. But who was in Child of the Night? It's been a little bit. Elijah Wood when he was a little kid. I really, really like this movie. How do you say his name? Tom Skerritt is in 2 of these movies, actually. He's also in Calendar Girl Murders, which was my least favorite of the box set, I hate to say. But I didn't not like it. I just thought it was kind of middle of the road. Like, it's good, but it's not great. Are You in the House Alone was my favorite one. I've heard mixed things about this, too. Don't care. I thought this was a great movie. I think what a lot of people didn't like about it, and I don't really want to say what it is, but yeah. Some stuff doesn't get resolved, but I probably gave away too much. I'm sorry, but Are You in the House Alone? I really liked it. Dennis Quaid is in it. He is kind of the piece of shit in the movie, so to speak. But yeah. This was my favorite box set, and a close second, almost equal, the third Giallo box set. But Televised Terror, my last Vinegar Syndrome for the video. So many amazing releases this year. I'm just going to show a few more, and then I'm going to get out of here. I was so excited for this to be finally released. This is probably my favorite Scream Factory of the year. I only have a couple in here. Not to say that they didn't put out some good stuff, but I have to narrow it down. I know Vinegar Syndrome, I just did a shit ton of them, but believe me, I narrowed it down. Anyway, Wes Craven's Deadly Friend. I'm a big fan of this movie. I always have been. Christy Swanson stars in it. Really cool, like, older art for Deadly Friend. I've been waiting years for this to be on Blu-ray. I introduced it to my son. A Breakfast Club version of The Bride of Frankenstein. Joe Bob Briggs. That's what he says, and they put it on the back, which is awesome. Love Deadly Friend. Favorite Scream Factory of the year. Second favorite Scream Factory of the year, which I'm glad they released, and who better to do it, because it seems like a Scream Factory release. I don't absolutely love this slasher, but I do really like it. And they did a pretty decent job with some good interviews and stuff. He Knows You're Alone, with the infamous cameo by the one and only Tom Hanks, who did amazing 80s movies. My favorite movies of Tom Hanks are in the 80s. Not to say I'm not still a fan. I still watch all of his movies, but 80s are probably my favorite. These I just got recently, and I haven't dived into them completely. Vinegar Syndrome did put out this movie a few years ago with a lenticular cover, but MVD Rewind Collection put out Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2. I've heard mixed things with this. It seemed fine to me, but then of course you find out that, oh, it's the cut version. I'm like, damn it, because honestly I saw Jack Frost 2 when it came out, so I didn't remember. It did seem a little tame, but hopefully that gets resolved. I don't know, they haven't said, but these are the two probably newest that I'm talking about that just came out, literally. They even got pushed back. I thought I would get them later on in the month. And throw in a Synapse. Arrow put this out either earlier this year or last year, I'm not sure. I never got the Arrow one, but I did get the Synapse one. The 4K collection for Demons 1 and 2. Amazing collection. Amazing special features. So much great shit. They did a great job on it. Synapse usually does. They put out very few and far between stuff. They don't put out stuff as frequently as a lot of labels, but when they do, they kill it. I mean, they killed it with Suspiria. They killed it with Demons 1 and 2. And I think part of the reason why I didn't end up upgrading with the Arrow one is not because it was, I think it was B, but obviously not because of that, because I mentioned the All Region thing, was I already had their Steelbook Blu-ray collection, so I was like, but I did want to upgrade it on 4K, and I was able to, from Synapse. This would probably be in a top 10 releases, close, something like that, but I love both of those movies. I think Demons 2 is highly underrated, and I think it's just as good as the original. But anyway, I have a couple more here, and then I'll get out of here. Literally 2 more. Oh, wait, no. 3 more. I got a few more Severins. Night of the Demon, finally, on a great, it's so good. It's so good. It looks amazing. 5.5 hours of special features. I haven't dived into all that, but I'm so glad that Night of the Demon is, because I had it on one of those like budget packs that look like shit. I wouldn't say this movie's absolutely amazing, but I have a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's a killer, as my son would say, Sam Squanch movie, which we got for Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. I digress. Anyway, but Night of the Demon, it just came out. It was one of their Black Friday releases, but a killer Sasquatch attacks. There's a dick-ripping scene. There was a statue that they put out that I believe is gone for Night of the Demon. That was great. I was actually really excited for this, even though at first I was a little put off, because I was like, I have this movie on VHS, I have this movie on DVD, I have this movie on a Blu-ray. Finally got an amazing Blu-ray of, I don't know if I could say David Hess's best movie, but goddamn close, because, I mean, there is Last House on the Left. Some people might say they like this more than Last House on the Left. I don't know if I could say one way or the other. House on the Edge of the Park. Great slipcase. It's there from going forward, slipcases, like the Vinegar Syndrome ones. I don't think these are quite as thick, personally. I could just be, but it definitely seems like the same company. They got all of, if not most of, all the old special features. There's a documentary on Ruggiero Deodato that I have not watched that I can't wait to dive into. And it's got the CD soundtrack, which Severin is famous for. Great slipcase. One of the most sleaziest movies of all time. If you like movies like that and you like David Hess and you haven't seen House on the Edge of the Park, don't just think of it like by the title, like, oh, is this just a rip-off of Last House on the Left? Wow. It's like, no, it is not. Sure, it's kind of in the vein a little bit, but House on the Edge of the Park, I can't highly recommend this movie anymore. Not even just a favorite release, but love this movie. One of my all-time favorite movies. And then we're going to end strong here with a movie that I was over the moon, blown away that they was finally released, and Severin released it. I'm talking about Midnight. I was able to get the slipcase because they put it out after, unfortunately, but I did get it. It's one of their kind of shitty ones, but it's not too tight. This movie is, to me, is highly underrated. John Russo, who worked with John Carpenter, George Romero on Night of the Living Dead, and John Amplis is in it from Martin fame, as well as a lot of George Romero movies. But yeah, it's a devious slice of exploitation, effectively creepy and chilling vibe that exploits our fears of rural folk and satanic cults. And there's great special features. I've had a DVD forever from Arrow. Finally got a nice package. One of my, definitely in my top 10 favorite releases of the year. And the last, but definitely not least, goes right with Flesh for Frankenstein. I probably just gave it away, but as I said, I had seen Flesh for Frankenstein. I had never seen Blood for Dracula. Blood for Dracula. It's so nice. It's got like this nice white to it. I've actually heard people that thought this movie was kind of funny because it's over the top. I didn't find it funny. I just found it like, Udo Kier is an amazing actor, obviously. And it's basically like a Dracula movie if Dracula was a junkie for blood, but he needed virgin blood. He needed like the pure virgin blood to, otherwise he would get sick. One of the best vampire movies of all time. And I'm not even a big vampire movie, but Blood for Dracula, amazing set, amazing movie. But yeah, now that I'm almost 50 minutes in, I'm glad I was able to do this. I wasn't sure if I was going to fit it in time to put it out before January 1st, but man, that was an undertaking because it was kind of hard to narrow it down, and I think I did a pretty good job because, as I said, there was so much good stuff this year, so much good Vinegar Syndrome stuff, as well as everybody else. But yeah, if this is your first video, check out my other videos. That would be awesome. Like and subscribe if you would like. Give this video a like. That would be great. Definitely will help me out. And there will be plenty more videos to come. I'm actually kind of in the middle of a top 10 favorite horror movies of the 1980s, and I'm doing every year in the 1980s. I have done 1980, 81, 82, and 83 so far. In 1984, I planned on having it done before now, but holidays and everything, I kind of got a little slower, and but I'm going to do it very, very, very soon. I apologize for anybody that's waiting for that. But yeah, check out other videos on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe you got some recommendations. In the comments, anybody that anything that you really like that I may not have mentioned, I'm into that, and I could be something like either I forgot I was like, or it was like, oh, I was so close, but I couldn't include it because it's almost an hour video. There were so many great things this year. I can't stress it enough. But I think another great year coming. Look at January's slate for Vinegar Syndrome alone. We already know some Severin stuff for January and February. Like, come on, the Caligula movies that I have always wanted to see. I have never seen those. The Bruno, I think, what is it? Bruno Mattei, Caligula, and I'm blanking. But neither one of them, in case anybody's curious, aren't the Malcolm McDowell one. That one I have seen, and I really love that too. Even when I met him, I told him that I loved it, and he's like, "You love that piece of shit?" I don't think he said piece of shit, but that's kind of the vibe he gave me. But yeah, I hate that I'm blanking, but yeah, go check them out on the Severin website. I pre-ordered those. It comes with a really cool Caligula coin that on the back is the Severin logo, which is awesome. But yeah, anyway, definitely one of my absolute top favorites of the year, New York Ninja. I can't stress it enough. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was long-winded. Hope you got some cool recommendations. Let me know anything that you really like that I may not have mentioned. And thanks for checking out the video. My name is Eric. This has been the Horror of It All movie podcast video edition. Until next time.